What is going on, guys? This is another Pop Culture Crisis movie review, except for this is not a movie review. It is a television review for episodes 1 through 3 of this second season of Reacher on Amazon Prime, and I am excited to do this one. I actually have to re-record this because there were some technical difficulties before, and it's not even a problem because I loved season 1 so much. Guys, I've talked a lot about what the benchmark is because the idea of art being critiqued is so subjective. I think the highest benchmark you can give something is whether you're willing to rewatch it. And I say all the time, there hasn't been anything in Hollywood in the last several years that I've considered watching more than once except for Reacher on Amazon Prime. I watched season 1 multiple times, and I have now watched season 2, episodes 1 through 3 twice over, and I am loving season 2 every bit as much as I loved season 1, which is a huge relief because one of the big problems is when you have a show that does unexpectedly well, you have to worry about what's going to happen in that second season. Luckily, my hope is that these writers use restraint and they don't go places they don't need to, and they stay right on this path. But so far, we are seeing that being done very, very well. So the character of Reacher is reintroduced right away in a fantastic fashion. He is outside of an ATM as a woman is taking out money, and he realizes that she has been carjacked and her son is being held hostage inside the car. And he takes care of this dude in brutal fashion, very reminiscent of the violence and the action of season 1. And the reason why this works so well is because the actor, Alan Ritchson, the dude is just, he's enormous, okay? He looks like the action stars of old. He looks like the action stars of the 80s that looked like they were on all the roids, right? And Alan Ritchson embodies that physical presence that you need, and the violence you get right off the bat lets you know that you're going to stay right on path for season 2, which I was unbelievably happy about because I did not want things to change. You're then introduced to the character of Neely, who grew on me just amazingly throughout the first 3 episodes. She informs him that a member of his old unit that they all worked for, he ran a special investigation unit for the military police, and a member of the old unit has been murdered, and you have to now go on this investigation with them as he picks up more members of the team as they go to try to figure out what happened to the character. So we are introduced to Alan Ritchson, of course, returning as Jack Reacher, Maria Sten as Neely, Serinda Swan as Carla Dixon, Sean Sheeposh, I think I said that right, I tried to look it up beforehand, as David O'Donnell, who really to me looks like a little bit like discount Austin Butler, but he's good in this show. Ferdinand Kingsley as the villain AM, Robert Patrick as Shane Langston, Dominic Lombardozzi, one of my favorite actors, also worked with Serinda Swan on Breakout Kings, as Guy Russo. He is a cop who's also investigating these murders as well. You meet these characters through flashbacks in a lot of ways so that you can see how this unit came together. And the reason they do this is because it is hard to care about the death of someone that you have no actual knowledge of or that you don't have any interactions with in previous episodes of the show. So they have to do these flashbacks to help you care about the characters and understand why the bond between them is so strong. One of the critiques I have of the show is that I felt like they kind of got through it a bit quickly, but for the sake of storytelling, I understand why. There's a great introduction to just how smart Reacher is by how he orchestrates their bonding exercise, essentially, at an officers club. And that speaks to one of the great elements of this show, is that everyone is smart. There are no stupid people in the show. The character of O'Donnell is a tiny bit the comedic relief. But one of the things that the show does well is, normally they say show don't tell, but they use the ability of these characters to make strong deductions almost in a Sherlock Holmes-esque way. So whenever they figure something out or they make a leap of logic, they then break down for you structurally how they came to that conclusion, and it makes all of those characters sound very, very smart. Now, Reacher always did this. That was a big proponent of his character in season 1. It's a big proponent of the character, but the other characters do it as well, and this is what the biggest compliment I can give this show. One of the problems that Hollywood has these days is that for the sake of elevating other characters, they will denigrate the characters around them. But the thing here is that the character of Neely is shown to be extremely smart. The character of Dixon, extremely smart. O'Donnell is smart. They're all very, very intelligent and get moments in which they can share that with you, but it's never done in a way that outshines the lead character of Reacher, who is shown to be unbelievably smart, unbelievably loyal to his team. He's got this amazing group of people around him that elevate him because, as smart as they all are, they look up to him, which is what you want. You want your lead character. There's a reason why in other genres, like you need that person to stand out because that's the bankable person, right? That's the person whose name is on the book. His name is on the front of the show. But you don't help the story by making the characters around them look stupid. The character of Neely could have gone really, really bad really, really quickly, and I'll tell you why. She is shown to be quirky, a bit not antisocial, but she's got some weird tics, right? There's a scene where she's a woman reaches out to shake her hand and she says, "No thanks, not my thing." Also, they talk about how she doesn't like anybody, right? She doesn't find anybody attractive. All of those things in modern Hollywood would have been played up and over focused on and become a farce in the context of such a serious story. But within this world, she's still a real person. She's just got quirks that add to her character, but never take away from the rest of the story. It feels real. So you have that. Then you're introduced to the character of O'Donnell, who is the comic relief a bit in the show. But him, along with the dry humor of Alan Ritchson, it works to soften the tone slightly, but never take it out of the realm of serious. You need that for something like this. You're investigating the death of friends. It cannot devolve into comedy. It cannot. You can show comedic moments, but it cannot devolve into comedy. From there, you get introduced to Dixon, who is played by the fantastic Serinda Swan, who I've always loved. She was in Breakout Kings with Dominic Lombardozzi. She was also in Graceland, an underrated show that I really, really liked. One of the critiques I have of this show is she is shown to have a long-standing, there's a long-standing attraction between her and Reacher, but because they worked in the same unit that he was heading up, he said it would be unbecoming for him to get involved with her, which I like because it showed the strong moral stance of the character when he was a professional. I would say that the characters, they lacked chemistry. Okay, they get together in episode 2. In season 1, when he gets together with the other actress, the lady who plays the cop in season 1, they wait until the later episodes for this to happen, and it really felt like a steam valve being kind of let off, right? It was done in a way that fit the story. In this one, it felt like they got into it quickly. No nudity in this one, though there was in season 1. And I just didn't feel like I felt the chemistry there that was supposed to actually match this supposed longing that they had for each other. It just didn't really, really work for me. But as an investigator, she's fantastic, and she does the role really, really well. But sometimes chemistry is just not always something that you can bank on or expect to happen. Not everyone's going to get you. Maybe other people saw it or felt it. I personally didn't. The only other real flaw that I would find in this show is that I think that just like in season 1, the bad guys are kind of undersold. You get the amazing Robert Patrick in this show as a bad guy. Legendary actor Robert Patrick. We're talking Terminator. By the way, there is a fantastic Terminator reference right off the bat. It's not overdone. It's done very, very well. And I would like to see more from his character as well as the character of AM from Ferdinand Kingsley. Plays this guy with a sort of quiet, almost distinguished menace. And a little bit more from each of them would have felt a little bit more appropriate to me, but I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about the good guys getting the brunt of the screen time, especially when they treat the good characters as well as they do in this show. That's not a problem. The other thing that I thought was funny, the way that he portrays the Reacher character with this sort of quiet, dry humor when needed. He doesn't raise his voice. He always talks in that kind of monotone, with that monotone exposition. It's giving Man in the Suit vibes from Person of Interest, played by Jim Caviezel, who had a similar character, though maybe not as personable as this one is, and he does it really, really well. I like that about it. Could be why, because Person of Interest is one of my favorite shows of all time. There's these great scenes that will stick out to you, which I will talk a little bit about. So when they're trying to establish just how strong this character is, right? You don't just get the scene at the beginning where he just destroys this dude in the car. You get to see him set off an airbag with his foot, right? He kicks a car and sets off the airbag. And it's not just that, they address it. It's shown, and then they address it in a way that actually feels real, where a guy's like, he just kicked the car, where Lombardozzi's character says, he just kicked the car and the airbag went off. And the bad guys, the ones that are following him, the other henchmen, he's like, dude, we're going to need help with this guy. because you're always trying to establish and show that this main character is somebody that needs to be taken seriously because it helps the audience buy into the series. Treat the main character with respect. Treat the characters around them with respect. Don't make people stupid for the sake of making other characters look good. A little bit more time with the bad guys in future episodes would be something that I would like to see more of, just by the virtue of who has been shown and who has not. The other members of the unit that we know and the ones that we haven't seen yet, you know there's some twists and turns coming, but I'll tell you this. Whenever a show goes into its second season after an unexpectedly good run for a first one, right? When it's a surprise hit, I always have that fear that they're going to veer off and go a different direction in season 2. Then it becomes a vanity project for somebody else. But Nick Santora is doing a fantastic job leading the show. Go watch season 2, episodes 1 through 3 of Reacher, guys. If you have not seen it, go watch the first season first, then check out episodes 1 through 3. If you have seen them, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it. What were the things that you liked about it? What were the moments you loved? What did you find unrealistic? What did you think that they did better than season 1, differently than season 1, worse than season 1? Let me know, guys. I'll be back with episodes 4 through, I believe it's 4 through 8, but I'm going to review all the episodes all the way up and through till it's done. So stay tuned for more, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.